Hello and welcome to English for You. I'm Seb.
And I'm Elsie.
So, Elsie, today we're talking about social media. Do you use a lot of social media?
I think I do. I always check my Facebook on my phone.
Right, okay. That's the first thing I do in the morning.
Yeah.
Normally I wake up, I turn off my alarm, and then I go through Facebook. I scroll through Facebook.
Yes, you scroll through Facebook, and now we have Instagram too.
Instagram as well.
So after you do that, you're gonna go to Instagram right away.
Check my Instagram,
Right.
check my stories.
Check everything.
Check everything. So I guess we could kind of say that we are kind of like social media addicts, couldn't we?
我们已经是脸书成瘾者了。
Yeah.
Oh no.
So, well, I mean, a lot of people are these days. You know, we have smartphones, we have all of these great sites that we can use, all of these great apps. But, you know, there are some people who are a little bit worried about what this could mean for the future.
Yes.
And today we're going to be talking about an article which is about just that, about a future where social media has gone kind of a little bit crazy.
Ooh.
So, let's check it out.
Reading. Feed. Titus is connected to something called the feed. This device is part of his body and connects him to a huge computer network. The feed affects around 70% of the global population, showing them ads and telling them what to buy. It has also replaced teachers, though it only educates people about fashion and cool items. Titus and his friends have been hooked up to the feed since they were infants. It controls their lives. On a trip to the moon, Titus meets Violet in a club. Since Violet was raised in a traditional manner, she didn't get the feed until she was 7. When a hacker disconnects people from their feeds, Titus and his friends go into shock. They recover in a hospital, where Titus and Violet begin a romantic relationship. However, Violet's feed is not properly repaired. Back on Earth, Titus and Violet grow closer. She questions everything about the world. Titus soon starts seeing things in a new light too. Finally, she reveals her plan to him. She wants to resist the feed.
Okay, so today's story is called feed. Now, feed is a bit of a tricky word because it has lots of different meanings.
Yes.
Normally, you'll see feed to mean, you know, food that you give to a chicken, for example. That's as a noun, so chicken feed, for example. We normally use feed in that way to talk about animal food, so we don't talk about people food as feed. But we can also talk about it as a verb as well, which is喂, isn't it? Yeah. You
喂食的动作，对，没错。
feed a child. However, that's not how we're using the word here. This story's name, feed, is a reference to social media. In social media, we have feeds as well. Those are the, it's kind of the list of information that you get when you go on the first page of Facebook or of Instagram and you go through all of the pictures, all of the status updates. You're reading all of this stuff. So these are what we call social media feeds.
所以在今天的课文当中呢，我们看到的 feed 指的都是资讯来源哦，像是 web feed 就是你到网络上可以看到的资讯来源，或是 news feed 也就是新闻订阅，然后你会知道一些新闻的来源。And the article begins by saying Titus is connected to something called the feed.
Right, okay. So we don't know what this thing is yet,
No.
but the article is going to explain it for us. It says This device is part of his body and connects him to a huge computer network. Oh, that's kind of scary, actually.
Yeah, and this is a device. Device 我们说它是装置器具 and the device is part of his body. Part 是部分的意思。当我们看到 A is part of B， 代表 A 是 B 的一部分。For example, this small island is part of Taiwan. 这座小岛是台湾的一部分。So here the device we're talking about connects Titus to a huge computer network.
Right. We already, in real life, we have devices that can be part of our body. You know, we can have hearing aids, for example, are devices that help us hear, or we can have pacemakers, which take care of your heart.
Yeah.
But this one is special because it connects Titus to a network. And a network is a noun, and we use network with computers to talk about a group of computers that are connected to each other so they can share information. There are two types of networks. One is made up of computers that are connected to each other using wires and cables. This is the kind of network that we normally find in offices where lots of people need to work together. And the other network is a wireless network, so a network with no wires or cables. And this is when the computers are connected to each other using services like the internet. So now you see, basically Titus is linked to the network through this kind of big invisible this wireless connection. Kind of like when you use the internet on your cell phone, you connect to the Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Okay, let's take a look at an example sentence now. The employees at this company share all their work with one another over a private wireless network.
Network 这个字呢，在这边指的是电脑网络。那 Titus 身上的装置，它的这个 device， 将它也就是 Titus 连接到一个大型的电脑网络上。
Exactly. The feed affects around 70% of the global population, showing them ads and telling them what to buy. Oh, okay, so this is a little bit like real life, but this feed is affecting the global population. Now, global is an adjective, and when we talk about something being global, we are talking about it being all over the world. The global population, for example, is all the people who live on this planet. If you're wondering why we use global like this, it's because global comes from a noun, globe, which is a fancy word for really big ball. As our planet is a really big ball, something that is global must be all over the planet. Make sense?
Yeah.
So let's take a look at an example sentence. Global temperatures have risen by about 1 degree over the last 200 years. That's actually quite a lot.
Yeah，刚刚 Seb 提到的 globe， 它就是一个名词，然后代表球体、地球或者是整个世界。那我们如果去掉字尾的 e， 加上 al， 变成 global 这个形容词就解释为全球的。所以像刚刚例句里面的 global temperatures， 那就是全球的气温。那我们还有一个现在很常见的状况，全球暖化，我们会说 global warming。那回到课文来呢，我们说到这个网络啊，可以让全世界70%的人口看到广告，并告诉他们该买些什么。And the article tells us it has also replaced teachers, though it only educates people about fashion and cool items.
That's not very useful. So we also saw the word replace there. Now, when we replace something, we stop using it and start using something else instead. So in the book, the world doesn't use teachers and schools anymore. They get all the information from the feed. Now, similarly, we could use replace to talk about someone replacing someone else if they take over their job. For example, Karen replaced Brenda as the head of the company. This means that Brenda stopped being the boss and Karen started being the boss. So there's two ways there of how replace is used as a verb. Now, our example sentence for replace is, computers and phones have replaced newspapers as many people's main source of information.
Replace 这个动词呢，就是取代或代替。那它的名词形式，同学们要把它记起来哦，在字尾加上 ment 就可以了，念作 replacement。所以呢，我们说到这个 feed， 它已经完全取代了老师，但它只教人们什么呢？关于 fashion 流行的事物，或者是 cool things 酷炫的产品。That's all.
Yeah, I mean that sounds good. But, you know, people need to learn how to read as well.
And how to write.
And write and do math. So it's not really that great, is it? So our next part of the story is Titus and his friends have been hooked up to the feed since they were infants. It controls their lives. Now, hook up is a very kind of a flexible phrasal verb, which is a verb where we take a verb and a preposition and we put them together. So when you hook something up to something else, you connect it to that thing. Normally to electronic things. So if Elsie hooks my phone up to the internet, for example, she is connecting my phone to the internet. She's getting me on the Wi-Fi. That makes me sound a little bit old. Getting me on the Wi-Fi.
I'll help you with that, don't worry.
Thank you. However, we can also use hook up someone to something as well, to mean give them the opportunity to do something. So for example, if Elsie knows someone who is selling tickets to see Joe and Baba in concert and I want to go, I can say to Elsie, hey, can you hook me up with tickets to the concert? So Elsie hooks me up to the concert.
所以 hook up to something 代表就是连接起来，连接上。所以我可以帮你直接去买到票的意思。I'll hook you up to the tickets, right?
Exactly, exactly.
那课文这边说到呢 ，Titus 和他的朋友们就从还是 infants，也就是婴儿的时候就被连接到这个网络上了。
Exactly.
And the article continues by saying, on a trip to the moon, Titus meets Violet in a club.
Oh, who is Violet?
Who is this girl?
And where is he meeting her? Well, he's meeting her in a club. And club, again, is a bit flexible. You probably know club as a school club, you know, something you do after school. But it can also mean a nightclub, which is a place you go to drink and dance late at night. So he meets Violet in a nightclub. And since Violet was raised in a traditional manner, she didn't get the feed until she was 7. Okay, so there's a lot of interesting information in that sentence.
那我们先来看一下英文练功房里面 since 的用法。since 这个字呢，它是一个从属连接词，它可以用来接主要子句跟从属子句，可以表示原因或者是自从某个时间开始。For example, I've lived in Taipei since I was born， 代表我自从出生之后就一直住在台北。那这边的 since 它就当成是自从某时间开始来解释的。那它连接的主要子句常常是用完成式来表示哦，比如说这边的 I have lived in Taipei，have lived 它就是一个现在完成式。那前面提到我们的课文，我们在说的是自从他们还是婴儿的时候就被连接上了，所以那边的 since 也是解释为自从。那另外呢 since 也可以当作由于或是既然的说法，那它就类似 because 或者是 as 的用法咯。For example, since Violet was raised in a traditional manner, she didn't get the feed until she was 7. 这边的 since 就可以解释为 because， 因为她是以传统的方式被抚养长大，所以到7岁之前她都没有这样的消息来源。And we also see the word raise, and it has several different meanings. 有提高，比如说 raise taxes。就是提高税金，还有举起 raise your hand 举手，募款 raise money. What does it mean in the article?
Well, we're going to find out. Okay, so raise, we just learned a couple of different ways we can use that, but none of these were from the article. The way we see the raise in the article is actually to bring up someone. So when someone raises a child, they take care of that child until they are an adult. During that time, they might share their ideas about the world with the child and teach them how to do things, like your parents have done with you. Now, with raised, we can also skip the subject of the sentence to mean that someone grew up somewhere. So, for example, John was born in San Francisco, but raised in New York. See, there we didn't have to talk about John's parents. We didn't have to say John was raised by his parents, because we already know that. We're talking about where he grew up. Now, we also have another word which is quite similar to raise. We can talk about adopting a child. So adopting, not adopting. And when you adopt a child, you take the child in when you are not their birth parent, and you take care of that child until it has grown up. So let's look at an example sentence now. After his parents passed away, Javier was raised by his aunt.
所以呢，在课文里面 raise 是有养育的意思。And we have another word to look at, which is traditional.
Of course, yes. Now, we'll remember that Violet was raised in the traditional way. Now, we use this adjective to talk about something that has been done for a very long time in the past. For example, in Taiwan, it is traditional to go to the temple and pray during the ghost festival, 中元节.
Yes.
That is something that people in Taiwan have been doing for a very long time, right? They've been doing it for hundreds of years, and therefore it is a traditional thing to do. It's not a new thing to do. Now, when something is not traditional and it is very, very new, we can call it progressive. Now, progressive comes from the word progress, or 进步, which means to move forward. So progressive ideas, for example, are the ideas about the way the world works, which are a bit new and different. So in the 1920s, for example, if a woman was going to work in an office, you might think of her as quite progressive, because at the time, very few women were working. Now, in our example sentence, we also see another way that traditional is used. In Spain, many towns and villages celebrate the same traditional festivals that they have for hundreds of years.
Traditional 这个形容词代表传统的。那像刚刚 Seb 提到，在台湾我们会去拜拜，这样子是一个传统，那我们就要用名词来表示咯。那它就是要把字尾的 al 拿掉，变成 tradition 这个名词。And then the article says, when a hacker disconnects people from their feeds, Titus and his friends go into shock.
Who is this person who put them into shock?
Hacker 骇客，当一名骇客切断人们与 feed 的连接的时候，they go into shock.
Right, they go into shock. Now, shock is a state, a kind of condition which happens to us when something really surprising or scary has happened. When people are in shock, or they go into shock, they go pale, they shake, and they aren't able to think properly. That's why if you see someone is in shock, you shouldn't let them drive a car. So, for example, if you had a car crash, you might be shaky, you might be white, because you're scared if you hurt the other person. It's very scary when that happens, so you might be in shock. So they go into shock.
Shock 本来的意思呢是很震惊、惊讶，那这边呢指的是休克哦，而且 go into shock 指的是进入休克的状态。
So they recover from shock. They recover in a hospital where Titus and Violet begin a romantic relationship.
Oh.
It's that kind of story, I see.
So they start their romantic relationship. But the article says, however, Violet's feet is not properly repaired.
It's not properly repaired. Now, properly is an adverb, and when we do something properly, we do it well or completely. So Violet's feet hasn't been repaired properly, which means that the person who fixed it did not do a good job, and is probably the feed is probably still broken. So similarly, if I say that the brakes on my bike aren't working properly, then that means that it is probably quite hard for me to slow down when I'm riding it. That's because my brakes are broken. They're not working properly. Now, our example sentence for properly is, Tom was fired from his job because he never did it properly.
Properly 这个副词呢，它是由 proper 这个形容词加上字尾 ly 变过来的副词，那解释为适当地、正确地。那 Titus 跟 Violet 展开了一段浪漫的恋爱 romantic relationship，但是 Violet 的 feed 并没有被修好。And the article says, back on Earth, Titus and Violet grow closer.
Yes, they get closer. Their relationship becomes deeper. It becomes more important. So, Violet, she questions everything about the world. Titus soon starts seeing things in a new light too. So we saw see someone or something in a new light, or in adjective light. That's actually our pocket phrase go for today. So let's take a short break, and then we'll be right back after we find out what it means.
Pocket phrase go!
被彼得潘剁掉了手之后呢，我户克船长每天都在想着要怎么报仇哦。就在今天早上呢，我许久以来的沉思，忽然有了新的启发。 I suddenly see him in a new light. 我忽然呢用一种新的角度来看待彼得潘哦。其实呢，他不是我的仇人，而是来启发我的天使了。所以呢，为了不辜负我身为海盗的天命，我一定要抓住他，好好的报仇啦。See 就是呢，看着什么东西哦。In 什么样的 light， OK， 用什么样的光线？你可以想象一下花灯了，我们用呢红色玻璃纸，用蓝色玻璃纸，是不是呢就会有不同颜色的光？所以呢，这个片语就表示呢，你用不同的角度来看待这件事情，就好像呢不同颜色一样咯。所以呢，像我呢用新的角度来看待彼得潘，或者是像这句。This incident made people see the company in a very bad light. 这个事件呢，将让这间公司被人们用不好的角度给看待了，对它投以负面眼光。这个句子呢，就是这样使用啦。
Okay, so now that he's seeing her in a new light, he's seeing the world in the new light, Violet trusts him. Finally, she reveals her plan to him. She wants to resist the feed. OK。
所以最后 Violet 跟他，也就是 Titus 透露了一个计划。他说啊，他想要抵抗 feed. So what does this mean? Does Violet not want her feet to be fixed?
No, I don't know if she does.
She doesn't want to get any feed, right?
She doesn't want the feed anymore if she wants to resist it, but we're going to find out a little bit more about what this means in tomorrow's article in day 2 of the article. But first, let's check out our For You chat.
For You chat.
Okay, so we've got an interesting For You chat question today.
What is the question?
One which I think we can all have something to say about. How would you deal with being cut off from the internet? Now, quickly remember, cut off means to not be connected suddenly or not have access to the internet.
At all.
At all. So if you didn't have the internet, what would you do?
I think I would totally be fine.
Really?
I still could call my friends or my relatives or my family with my home phone.
Right.
And I can still meet you, meet Connie, when I go to work.
Exactly. So
Right?
you have your real life friends.
Yes.
That's true, that's true.
But I just couldn't do things online.
Yes.
But I think I can always do it traditionally. Like if I want to go shopping, I can always go to traditional stores to shop.
Right.
Instead
right.
of buying clothes online.
Yes, and I think that's really good. Sometimes when I go on vacation, I like to leave my phone in the hotel.
Same here.
Because you don't have internet anyway when you're in another country. So I like to leave my phone in the hotel and just go out. Yes, and enjoy that you're here.
Yeah.
Don't put anything on your Instagram story. Don't put anything on Facebook. Just go out and enjoy where you are right now. Okay, so we've actually got lots more to talk about with this story, with feed. But that's all the time we have for today. So we'll join you tomorrow with more information about this exciting story.
Feed. Titus is connected to something called the feed. This device is part of his body and connects him to a huge computer network. The feed affects around 70% of the global population, showing them ads and telling them what to buy. It has also replaced teachers, though it only educates people about fashion and cool items. Titus and his friends have been hooked up to the feed since they were infants. It controls their lives. On a trip to the moon, Titus meets Violet in a club. Since Violet was raised in a traditional manner, she didn't get the feed until she was 7. When a hacker disconnects people from their feeds, Titus and his friends go into shock. They recover in a hospital, where Titus and Violet begin a romantic relationship. However, Violet's feed is not properly repaired. Back on Earth, Titus and Violet grow closer. She questions everything about the world. Titus soon starts seeing things in a new light too. Finally, she reveals her plan to him. She wants to resist the feed.
Vocabulary Review.
Network. You can use the printer once your computer is connected to the office network. Global. Climate change is a global problem that the whole world must deal with. Replace. Online news websites began to replace print newspapers in the 2000s. Raise. Bill was raised in a rich family and never learned what life was like for poor people. Traditional. The traditional view is that boys should wear blue and girls should wear pink, though modern views are changing. Properly. Carl made too many mistakes because he was not properly trained for the job.
智慧小补帖
Device. Hook up to something. Infant. Hacker.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net